What is up, guys? It is your LOL support here, and today we're going to be bringing you guys a little Wukong guide. We're going to be playing him in the top lane here, and without further ado, let's get into some of the Monkey King's abilities. So, his passive is Stone Skin, and Wukong's armor and magic resist are increased by 4, 6, and 8 for each visible enemy nearby, and this range is about 1,400 units. So, this is a decent range that you're going to be getting out of this passive. Now, this does only work on visible enemies, so you're not going to be able to detect somebody who's in a brush by seeing your passive go up. So that's a little thing to know. Also, Mirror Image, LeBlanc's passive, will not work for your passive, so you're not going to get additional for her clone, basically. So that's something to note. His Q ability, Crushing Blow. Wukong's next basic attack, within the next 5 seconds, deals modified physical damage, gains 125 range, that's 300 total range for a melee, which is pretty good, and reduces the enemy's armor by a percentage for 3 seconds. Now this physical damage scales 30% per level, so this is why I choose to max this one second compared to my Nimbus Strike, which we'll get into in a second. But as said, this does go up 30 damage, base damage, and it scales 110% with AD. So this one's going to have a little bit better scaling AD, but it's going to have less base damage than your Nimbus Strike. And the armor reduction is going to go up by 5% per level, starting at 10, going to 15, 20, 25, and 30%. Crushing Blow is an auto attack reset, so keep that in mind, guys. If you're going to be going and trading with somebody, try and land an auto attack first, and then Crushing Blow, and then another auto attack. That's going to be 3 quick strikes that you can get off within a matter of seconds. So that's an important thing to note when you're playing Wukong and when you're trying to trade. Another thing, Crushing Blow does not work on wards, so don't bother wasting Crushing Blow on a ward. This does apply on-hit effects, and it can critically strike, so that means that lifesteal will be applied, and you can critically strike with this. And the bonus damage that you get from the ability will also work with lifesteal, so that's an important thing to keep in mind. Now, in this lane matchup, I am a little bit outmatched and outclassed here, because as an Aatrox, he's going to be able to sustain up the damage that I put down on him. And because I use mana, and I'm going to be requiring a good amount of mana to lay down the damage, he's going to be outclassing me in lane. So right there, getting a nice trade, getting an auto attack into a Nimbus Strike, and then using the passive attack speed that I get from Nimbus Strike in that trade. I'm trying to get the level 2 advantage right here, but I'm not going to be able to get the level 2, and that's going to put me behind in lane severely, because when you're level 2 and you can beat up on a level 1 opponent, that's way better than if you're level 2 and try and beat up on a level 2. So right here, I try and engage on him with my level 2, and I get a significant amount of damage off. We're even, but he has sustain in this lane, which is going to make it really, really hard for me to keep these kinds of trades up. And you will see right here, we go in for an all-out trade, and right there, I did end up flashing. I probably didn't need to. Could have saved my flash there, but we did burn his passive. But that exchange put me very behind in this lane. So learn from my mistake, guys. Do not do that kind of trading with an Aatrox. Poke him down and try and get him low enough to the point where you can kill him. So right now I am behind in this lane, and I will end up catching back up at some point. But I will be making a few mistakes here and there. Making my catch up a little bit difficult. Right here, had I just landed an auto attack or some sort of ability, I would have been able to get a kill there and keep everything tied up in the lane, but since I didn't, my Nimbus Strike was on cooldown, I think it was. So since I was not able to land anything there and I didn't react to the situation, I just played reactively instead of proactively, I did end up getting giving him a kill and not getting anything out of it. So that's a little tip for you guys. If you feel like somebody's going to dive you, think about what you're going to do before the situation happens, not while it's happening. Because right there, I thought of it after it happened and while it was happening, so I was not able to react and I was not able to use any instinct, and I ended up just completely just whiffing that. And it put me behind a lot in lane, so now I have to play very passive in this lane. Let's go into his next ability, Decoy. Wukong becomes stealth for 1.5 seconds and leaves behind a decoy of himself. You can't control this decoy, and after a certain amount of time, it deals damage in an AoE around him. And this magic damage, it is magic damage, and it's going to scale with AP. However, I would not recommend building him hybrid. You just lose a lot of damage right there. Decoying at the right time, and you're going to see I decoy at a critical time later on in this fight. That puts me in a great spot. Right there, I'm able to trade with him fairly well, even being a level behind, but you can see the sustain that he has is just too much, and I'm going to have to get ahead and get my ultimate, because once I can get my ultimate, I'll have an advantage on him. But I need to suffice in lane and just CS in the meantime. So another cool thing about your decoy can tank a turret if you... It can tank the turret hits if you time it correctly. It can tank up to 2 turret hits. It also, depending on someone's attack speed, can tank either 1 or 2 auto attacks. Maybe even, about 1 or 2 auto attacks. So 1, 2 right there. Okay, so we're tanking 2 of Aatrox's auto attacks right now. So an important thing to note is also this can block Caitlyn's ultimate. So if she ults you, you can block it with your decoy. So that's another thing to know, especially if a Blitzcrank is trying to grab you. You can decoy at the right time and he'll simply grab your decoy and he'll just pull that magic damage into his team. This has no cast time, so that's important to note, so you can do it while moving. An important thing to do sometimes, just to play with your enemies, is hit the S key while you're walking, as long as that is your stop command. So you just click stop command, and you're going to stand perfectly still, and the enemy's going to think, oh, he's decoying right now, let's try and find out where he's going. But really, that's you. That's just you just hitting S key. And then you could just walk in the other direction. Another thing to note with Wukong, right there, he used his ultimate, I was able to get away. And right here, I'm going to lay some damage down on him, and the turret is going to finish him off, but he is still, however, in the lead. He has a little bit more CS than me, and another kill over me, so that's going to make for a hard time in lane. You see that he has a Cutlass on me, and a Cutlass and a Doran's Blade. That's roughly going to equate about 120 damage, assuming that he took the standard top lane masteries and runes that I kind of, it's not a science, it's kind of like guesswork, but I'm guessing right now Aatrox has around 120 AD with what he's rocking right now. So I'm keeping that in mind when I'm in lane and when I'm fighting him. You see that I pick up an early Brutalizer. Wukong does really well with the armor pen that comes with it, the cooldown reduction, and a little bit of AD that comes with the Brutalizer as well. Let's go into his Nimbus Strike. Nimbus Strike. Wukong dashes towards a target and sends out 2 images of himself, and these will hit other enemies. So right there, he goes in, I decoy, Nimbus Strike into a crushing blow, and we're able to get some damage off onto him. So right here, I would have Bandage Toss right there across the screen into the Aatrox, but the Amumu waited just a little bit too long, and now we have to walk around all these minions, and he's going to be tanking all of these minions. So that's why I'm gonna ping him off of this fight right now, at least. See right here, he's tanking a good amount of minions, and Aatrox could just duel him right there. So I told him back up, back up, back up. And right here, we're going to be trying to see if we can get ahead, because right now I have the minion advantage. So right there, I'm going in, laying down a Nimbus Strike and going in, decoy out so that I don't take any harass for my attempt to trade. Right here, okay, so Aatrox jumps in. His escape is gone. He's gone ahead and used his CC on me. So right here, Amumu landed a great Bandage of Toss and pops his ultimate. So right now, Aatrox is rooted, and I'm going to go in with the Nimbus Strike into a crushing blow. Now this is important. Right here, I know he's going to attack either the Amumu or me. And I'm assuming since the Amumu is walking away, he's going to try and go for me. This is critical. Time your decoy perfectly. So right here, he's going to waste 2 auto attacks, and let's see what his AD is. What's his AD at? Why can't we click him? Oh, okay, right here. He has 117 AD, so we were roughly right, about 120 AD. So he gets 1 auto attack and 2 auto attacks off on a clone. Or 2 auto attacks right there. He wasted 2 autos on nothing. And that was able to put us in the lead and get us the kill right there. Because he wasted those 2 auto attacks, he was not able to get that damage off on the Amumu or me, and that is what ended up winning us the fight right there. Those two auto attacks probably would have killed me, and he might have been able to pick up the double kill on the Amumu if he's running 21-9-0 with the dangerous game. I don't know if he is or not, but it's a thought. You have to think about these kinds of things, you know? So right here, I'm getting a little greedy for the cannon minion. I really need this cannon minion to go back and buy some substantial items to damage him. And also I'm going to try and deny him his cannon minion by letting it hit the turret. So right there, I'm going to farm up and base. So let's get back into Nimbus Strike. After he dashes in, he gains a bonus attack speed buff, scaling 5% per level, starting at 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Now, keeping in mind, this scales less with AD, but has more bonus, or has more base damage, which is why I choose to max it. And also the attack speed helps a little bit, but higher base damages at lower levels is more ideal to max, in my opinion. It's a little bit more mana cost, like, it's less mana efficient, but I'm getting more bang for my buck as far as base damages are concerned. Because in the early game, you're not going to have anything that's going to be able to scale well with the 110% AD that you're getting on Crushing Blow. So might as well max the thing that gives you more base damage, because you're going to be more efficient gold-wise and ability-wise if you go in with better base damage, less AD. So I'm going to describe what I did here. This is what you have to do as Wukong. The second you are slightly ahead, you have to tear into your advantage. Right now, I am ahead of this Aatrox. I have 39 farm. He has 38 farm. I'm up 1 kill on him. Or I'm tied in kills with him. But what I notice, look at his items. He hasn't changed from that 117 AD, right? He only bought the dagger, so he's going to get better attack speed. I have 158 AD right now. And before I continue, let me go into his ult really fast so it makes sense on what I'm talking about here when I explain this. His ult, Cyclone, active Wukong staff grows outward as he spins for 4 seconds, dealing physical damage per second to enemies around him, gaining a 5% movement speed bonus for per half second he is in his ult. So, this scales 110% AD for each second, and caps out at 440% AD. That's a lot of damage. Like, okay, so let me describe this to you. I have 158 AD. My Q is going to scale 110% with that damage. My Nimbus Strike is going to scale 80% with that damage, not including the already base damage that I have on it, which is, let me check, 150 plus 67. This is dealing 173 plus 30. This is going to be doing 190 damage per second. Assuming I can keep him in my ult, I'm going to be doing so much damage, and I know that his passive is down as well. So you need to tear into these advantages, okay? So right here, I see him in lane. He's getting overconfident. I Nimbus Strike in, Crushing Blow, Decoy, lose the minion aggro, and start up my ult. You notice I'm not trying to target him. I'm walking past him with my ult. So right there, he flashes. Rather than flash for him, take a look at your Nimbus cooldown. If it's short enough, don't flash. Just wait for your Nimbus, and right there, boom. We were able to pick up another kill, and now we are officially head in lane. That is all you need to do as Wukong. The second you get 1 kill, you better press that lead and buy your AD items. Okay? Because early tank items on Wukong just shoot your options down entirely. You see, I picked up the Brutalizer and picked up the Pickaxe, and we were able to dominate this lane. I 100-0 Aatrox with no problem whatsoever. So, that's an example of what you have to do as a Wukong. Once you get an advantage, you have to tear into it. You have to use it. You have to abuse it. Or else you're not going to get anywhere. You know, you're just going to be his whipping boy in lane. That being said, Wukong has a hard time dealing with other tanks in lane. So, picking Wukong against a tank is ill-advised. I'd probably pick Wukong into other fighters. So, say like a Riven or, you know, somewhat Aatrox. I mean, Aatrox doesn't do bad against him, but he doesn't do great against him. So, Aatrox is so-so. Like I said, if I'm ahead like I am right now, just by 1 kill. 1 kill is all Wukong needs. But if I am ahead of him, I have no problem dealing with him. Let's see, what else? Who else would he go against? Just anyone who needs to be upfront and physical with him. I I would bring him against a Fiora, but I'd be careful about when I Crushing Blowed because her parry can negate a lot of that damage. So I'd probably wait on that. It's a little bit hard because if she ults when I ult, my ult's cancelled. So you kind of have to time that one. But yeah, he works well in fighter matchups. But tank versus fighter, he kind of is meh at. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So that's all of his abilities. Let's go into some of the tips and tricks that I've come to learn from him. As I mentioned before, or I don't know if I mentioned it before, I had to record this video twice because processing messed up. But when you decoy, you can flash. Keep that in mind. That is important because if you decoy, flash, Nimbus Strike, that is a lot of distance that you're able to close. I just want to see. It doesn't tell you the exact range of your flash, but you can roughly flash about like that much, right? Roughly this much, and then your Nimbus Strike is double that range. So you can gap close over half the lane with a decoy flash Nimbus Strike. So that's an important thing to note. Right here, he comes back in the lane, hit him with the Crushing Blow, go back in with the Nimbus Strike, and chunking him, you know? That's all you need to do as a Wukong. You just need to try and chunk them as much as possible. Right here, getting some auto attacks in, get the Crushing Blow into the Nimbus Strike, use my ult, get him down, and we're going to wait. Right here, we're going to come back in, ignite, auto attack, another auto attack, go into a Nimbus Strike, flash out because, okay, right here, if I'm here, around this radius, you're tanking 3 turret hits, at least, right? So, 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit. Like, that's the progression. So, if I'm here, I know I'm taking 3 turret hits for that dive. So, I only have enough health, calculation-wise, to tank minions and 2 turret hits, and safely live. The third would kill me. So, right there, I took 2 turret hits, and look at that minion aggro. Got me down to 224. 224 with the scaling damage that the turret does. I probably would have died for a third turret hit. So keep in mind how close you are to a turret. Gauge that with how many turret hits you can take. So right here, I told my Mumu, hey, go ahead and take the tower. I want to proxy this wave so that I can catch even more of a lead over the Aatrox. So that's a good thing that I'm doing here. Just trying to further my lead. And I want to end laning phase now. Because I was behind and now I'm ahead in laning phase. And it looks like my mid laner is not doing bad but not doing great. So I want to start roaming to mid lane, roaming elsewhere and getting a couple kills, you know? I want to push my lead and help other lanes get ahead. So that's what my focus is. That's why I push the tower down and that's why I want to start roaming now. Let's see, another tip. If you're taking out turrets and you want to take it down a little bit faster, go ahead and Nimbus Strike to a nearby enemy minion, and you'll use that attack speed against the turret. And also remember to weave in Crushing Blows in between auto attacks. So auto, Crushing Blow, auto, because it is an auto attack reset, so you have to keep that in mind. So right here, another thing that I don't notice a lot of people do is if your mid laner roams to bot lane and their mid laner is pushing up and you've based, cover their lane. Like, if you look at Aatrox, Aatrox is not going to be pushing up for another wave. So I have 45 seconds to get to top lane because each wave spawns every 30 seconds, right? Or 30 to 45 seconds. I'm pretty sure it's 30 seconds. But if a wave spawns every 30 seconds, a wave takes about 20 seconds to get there. I have about 15 to 20 seconds before I have to get back up into top lane before that wave will hit my turret. Assuming that he is freezing or, you know, not pushing. If he is pushing, I have roughly about, or I'm sorry, not 15 seconds. From where that wave was, I had 40 seconds, 45 seconds. If he is pushing, I'm closer to 40 to 35 seconds. So you have to keep those in mind. Keep those times in mind. Ask your jungler to cover for those times and know when you have to leave. The number one problem with top laners roaming is they don't know when to leave and go back top and keep pushing their lane and keep farming. You know, and I make that mistake a couple times here. Right there, I should have gone back up to top lane, but since my jungler is kind of covering top lane, I feel okay to roam bot, but I walked over several wards, and since I don't have a sweeper yet, I didn't notice that. So this is kind of like wasted time that I spent here. Right here, I decoy. I'm not able to get anything out of this fight, so I go ahead and pop Cyclone and use the move speed and the knock up to get away. And we are going to be able to survive here. Our mid laner's doing a great job pushing mid, So I'm not worried about their mid laner roaming down to us because he's already here. So yay. So she took great advantage of that. She pushed the lane like she was supposed to. And we're able to get more out of that trade than would have happened had she not pushed. So right there, Aatrox walking over a ward, we were able to see him roam down to mid lane. What our jungler should have done is, since our mid laner was safe, he should have pushed out the next wave so that the wave would have been about right here, and it would have given me more options to roam as far as like mid lane or bot lane again to try and push more objectives. But you see, this wave is now going to be pushing in their favor, so I have a shorter time to get to top. So minions are going to meet in the middle right now. Assuming he's not pushing, I would have 45, so I'd have to be back in top lane by 17:25. So you have to keep note of that. So that's another interesting to do. So right here, I'm just kind of walking around roaming. My jungler's covering top lane. He's picking up levels ahead of the enemy jungler. They're both right now tied in levels, but Malphite is missing out on a lot of experience. So right here, I decoy in, get down some crushing blows. I don't want to use my I don't want to use any like summoners and things like that to get kills as far as like ignites are concerned, because there's no kill potential. And if you look at your team, they can't really follow up. Always when you're kind of going in, keep in mind of who can follow up. See, Janna, low health, Vayne, halfway mana, Syndra, halfway mana. So these two can follow up, but it's not going to be full on. We don't have our AoE ult there when they originally came, so we had no chance of follow up. Instead, right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and decoy. Wait for it. Right here, decoy, Nimbus Strike, and ult. Now the reason I ult here, okay? A lot of people are like, yo, you're throwing the game, you're trying to tower dive, you're not that fed. Well, look at the general levels. We got a 9, a 10, and a 10. We have 5 people here, right? So 5 people. I know Aatrox is here. I saw Braum base, so I know this is a 3v5. We have an AoE ultimate right here, and we have a healing ult here. I didn't see if her ult. Yeah, her ult's on cooldown, so we're not going to be able to use that. But Syndra does have her ult, and we have Amumu's ult as well. So this is a safe engage. So once I start taking turret hits and I'm dropping everyone low health, I back out of the fight. Right here, Amumu throws down the ult like he should, and I come in, I come back for the cleanup, get my crushing blow onto the Malphite, and get another one, get some auto attacks off onto the Yasuo. Sorry, I meant Nimbus Strike onto the Malphite, crushing blow onto the Yasuo. And we were able to pick up a double kill. Braum tried to come in and see if he can make a difference there, but he's not able to. Aatrox is doing the best thing that he can right now. The best thing he can do is push down that tower, because we are going to get this tower. So if you can't make it to an objective, push out a lane and put pressure on the map. If we were taking Dragon, he should push. If we were taking this turret or we were taking this turret, he should push. If we were taking Baron, he should rotate. You know? So if you have no chance of getting to the objective that's getting pushed, just push your lane and get farm, get experience, and pressure the map. That's all you can do. Okay, so keep that in mind as laners for you guys, because oftentimes a lot of people just don't know what to do when objectives are pressured. So, like, if Dragon's being pressured as a top laner, you don't have TP, push out your lane. Ward up their jungle, counter jungle, whatever you need to do. When you have significant vision on the enemy team, you know their whereabouts, go ahead and use that information and push out objectives. So, that's another good tip for you guys. Level 2 advantage with Wukong is like a must. You have to get a level 2 advantage, because if you get a level 2 advantage as a Wukong and you use it properly, you never lose a lane. You should never lose a lane using level 2. If you're level 2, they're level 1, again, never lose a lane. Because Wukong's level 2 is one of the best in game. Comparable to Riven, even Gangplank has a relatively good level 2. Just with the bonus AD, Fiora has a great level 2 as well. Just know your champion's limits as far as level 2s are concerned. So right there, I went ahead and got the turret, and this is an example of where decoy flash is perfect. So right here, I'm getting caught. Right here, decoy flash. So they wasted the exhaust on my clone, and he has no idea. He's like, what? Wukong's in this brush? He just decoyed over here. What the hell? So I'm able to pick up the kill here. Sadly, I do get a little greedy. I'm 7-2 right now. So obviously the greed's going to settle in. I try and kill the Braum here. He does end up CCing me to the point where I can't do anything. So right here, I'm just standing still, hoping that they'll take the decoy bait. Malphite does, and I'm able to start my decoy. Sadly, his Q hit me, and I'm using my Nimbus Strike to maybe get to another minion, but at that point, it was over. I was dead. So you can use that as an escape. Use your Nimbus Strike wisely. If you're by a monster camp like right here, and you Nimbus or you ward over and Nimbus Strike, that's a good escape. So keep that one in mind. But keep in mind, flash after you decoy for extreme gap close or extreme escapes. So, because your flash will not reveal you. That's the most important thing. If your flash does not reveal you as a Wukong after your decoy, that's good. You know? So, let's look at some of the items I got. I went ahead and finished off my Hydra before I finished off the Black Cleaver. These are the only 2 damage items I'd really recommend on him, other than like the Last Whisperer, if they have a lot of tanks, but on their team, not really, and we're really far ahead anyways. But Wukong does really well with Armor Pen, as you can tell. So right here, just really simple, just got a stun off on him, trying to pick up a kill. Malphite ults in a little bit late, and we are able to punish him for the most part, but it was not enough to kill him. But we are going to pressure this objective. So other items I'd pick up, maybe a AoE attack speed slow. Oh, right here. I want to pause this. So right when that turret hit the minion on the last hit, I go ahead and decoy, right? So last hit the minion, decoy, retargets to my clone. 1, 2. Takes 2 turret hits. So those 2 additional turret hits are 2 turret hits I didn't need to take. So when a turret is focusing a minion, and right as the minion dies, go ahead and decoy, the turret should go ahead and target your decoy, and you get a free 2 turret hit escape. So that's something to note for you guys if you're trying to take down a turret. And again, if you're trying to get more attack speed on the turret, go ahead and Nimbus Strike to a minion. So right there, Nimbus Strike to the minion, so I only had to take 1 turret shot compared to 2. So right here, what I should have done here is I should have Nimbus Strike to the Braum so that one of my images would hit Yasuo. So right here, one of my images does hit Yasuo, but it's not enough. I do get exhausted. Had I not been exhausted, I might have been able to do something there by popping my ultimate, but I knew there was no chance I was going to catch him, even if I did use my ult. So I'm going to go ahead and save that for another team fight should it break out. So right here, Malphite comes in. He's trying to do stuff to the Vayne. I'm out of mana, and I don't really want to stay and fight, and I don't think that I could do anything, so all I'm going to do is leave my clone behind. Maybe they'll waste an auto or 2 off, and maybe that'll save her. If not, I've done all I can do. I'm out of mana. Don't overstay your welcome. Don't be a hero. You're better off alive than dead. Right here's an example of where I should have got a sweeper, because if I had a sweeper, I would have known that was warded. But this is called having brass balls, and you see them coming, and you're just like, nah, I'm basing. So that's just me being cocky and having fun with that. But you see, I do pick up the Merc Treads for the decreased CC because they have a Braum ult, they have Braum Q, they have Braum stun, they have Malphite slows. All around, they have a good amount of CC. Aatrox is knock up, Aatrox is slow. So I want to go ahead and reduce the amount of time I have to deal with that BS. And since I'm going to be diving in as a Wukong anyways, I'm going to be receiving a lot of it. So a good idea for you guys, when either you're engaging on a solo person or even a team fight, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and Nimbus Strike, auto attack, decoy. Because what that does is by the time you Nimbus Strike, auto attack, you can even work in a crushing blow if you're fast enough. But by the time you Nimbus Strike, auto, crushing blow, that takes about 0.25 seconds. Average human's reaction speed is about 0.25 seconds. So right then, they're going to know to like either waste an ability or waste an exhaust or waste something on you. And by that time, if you already decoy, then they're going to waste it on you, you know? Like if you're able to do that, you let them waste summoners Like you saw the Braum wasted his exhaust on me earlier. So that's an example of just like baiting out their summoners. So right here, Aatrox dives in. We're able to make short work of him. I see that Yasuo is doing some damage, and we end up killing him before he's able to follow up on the Malphite ult. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. So right here, I drop the armor on the Malphite for the Vayne with my Crushing Blow. Just staying in, weaving auto attacks. Go ahead and use my Hydra, pick up the kill there. Tank the Braum Q for the Vayne, because her Night Hunter passive, I think that's what it's called. Let me see if I know my shit. Night Hunter, holy cow, you're good, Sean. Thanks, guys, no problem. Night Hunter is going to help her catch up to those enemies faster than you would. And my Nimbus Strike was on cooldown, so might as well let her pick it up. So guys, that is the end of this guide. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned a lot from it. I try to work in as many tips as I can, with not only the champion, but in-game knowledge as well. If I missed something, or if there's something cool that you guys want to let me know, go ahead and post it in the comment section down below, and don't forget to leave a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I really like adding more people to the family. We're already running really strong, and it's great. It's been a great ride. You guys are like one of the best communities ever. So thank you very much, guys, for all your help. If you have any questions again about Wukong, please feel free to post a comment in the comment section down below. I will be streaming. I'll start streaming regularly now. I'm gonna try and figure out a date and time, or well, dates and times that I will stream, and I will go ahead and post those on Facebook. So if you haven't already liked us on Facebook, go ahead and go to our Facebook page and like us for all the constant updates. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this guide, and hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, this has been your LOL Support, and I am out of here.